So what is exception? Exception is any error which comes at runtime. That is known as exception. So exceptions are ideally of two types. First is a checked exception. Second is an unchecked exception. So what is checked exception and unchecked exception? So what is the difference between checked and unchecked exception? Checked exceptions are those exceptions where we actually know that what type of exception can come there. Unchecked exceptions are those, which we cannot predict. Like maybe user can perform that mistake, maybe user can perform this mistake. So let me explain them with the program. Exception test. So for example, I'm just going to use a database. So in database, we'll have a syntax to add a jar file that is class dot for name. And there I'll need to provide that driver com.mysql.cj.jdbc. Semicolon. So there I'm getting an error. And what that error is saying, maybe that driver is not available inside this code. So in that case, what we can do? We can go with an exception. So that is class not found exception. So how can you handle any exception? To handle any exception, Java provides us two blocks, ideally three blocks. First is try, second is catch, and third is final. So I'll have these three blocks in Java. So try is the block where we'll put that code where error make, okay, error can come. Catch is a block where we are going to handle that. And finally, this block will execute every time. Either try will deploy or catch will deploy. This block will deploy every time. So in this case, I'll handle that exception. This line, in this try, see, because maybe that class is not available. So in that case, if I'm just going to run this code, right click run as a Java application, so I'll get this exception. At this class, no class found. Now let me go with a simple example. For example, I'm just going to perform, this is known as a checked exception that class. Now, for example, I'm just going to perform addition of two numbers, integer a, b, c, where I'm using scanner class. So scanner equals to new scanner, and then we'll have system dot. That's it. Now let me perform a user input. So we should give a message before going for any user input. Enter your values to end. So I'll just put a equals to scanner dot extend. B equals to again scanner dot extend. I'm just going to put c equals to a plus b. And let me print that sysout c. So what I'll get as an output, let me show you. Enter values to add. I'm just going to enter 12 and 13. I'll get 25%. But hold on. If user don't know, like see, we are getting a message that enter your values to add, but what type of value? First value I'll enter as a 12. Second value I entered as a E. See, I'm just trying. So it gives me an exception. Input mismatch exception. And that exception is in which package? That is in java.ut. So how you will handle that exception? So to handle that exception, see, because that exception is coming in this line, in this block. So I'll need to initialize my try from there. And let me put a catch block. Where, see, now which exception I was getting? Let me show you again. I'm getting input mismatch exception. So that exception should be handled there. Input mismatch exception. I can take any reference variable like E and I can print sysout E. Now if user will perform that type of error, so I'll get input mismatch exception that is handled. So what is the user finally block? Sys out. I will execute every time. So let me show. Enter values to add 12, sorry, and 13. I will execute every time. 12 and E. I will execute every time. Okay. Now, if I'm going to perform, instead of addition, I'm just going to perform the divide operation. So enter value to divide. C divide by B. Now user entered 10 and then 2. That gives us 5. Perfectly correct. Now let me run this code again. And user is going to enter 10 and then 0. So that is not possible in mathematics. So we'll get a new exception. And that exception is not handled because that is arithmetic exception. It means now we require a new catch block. Right. So if you have different exception, so for those exceptions, you must have a different catch block. Control space catch block. So that is giving us exception. Exception is a class where all exceptions are there. But see, what exception we want, let me show you. If you know that which exception should be handled, so that must be mentioned inside this block. Arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception. So let me give a message. Sys out. Do not enter 0 in denominator. Okay. Here let me give a message. Please enter integer values. Now let me run this code. So if I'll go with 10 and like E, so I'll get please enter integer value. And that finally is executed every time. Now let me remove this finally. That is not required. Now if I'll go enter 10 and 0, so I'll get do not enter 0. But hold on. See what we can do. Let me remove this. There you can easily identify that what mistake user is actually doing with the help of this catch block. But if I'll go and put only exception, and let me give a message, please do proper input, so that block can handle all the exceptions, all the possible exceptions. And R, please do proper input. But still, if you want that, what type of exception is this? Go with this block plus E. Now you can easily identify. 1 second. Okay, let me stop this. Now let me run this code again. N and E. Please do proper input. What type of exception is that? Java.util.input mismatch. Okay. See, don't confuse with this line. Now let me run this again. And 0. Please do proper input. Java.line.arithmetic exception. So this is all about that how you can handle your exception. Thank you guys.